Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I am going to be talking about boomnew. And boomnew is it's a neologism which I have created. It is spelled B-O-O-M-N-E-W. There are no spaces in that. And basically you would capitalize it if it was at the beginning of a sentence and no other time. So, and it generally is used as what it is it is the state of a object, right? And it can be used as a verb. All right, so let me explain boomnew. So boomnew is an important aspect to understand for our modern world. So I work in information technology, and which means I'm constantly working with computers. And boomnew is a very clear state for computers, right? Now, I'm really aware of boomnew because I use it all the time. So because I am a computer person, for 2 decades, I have been the go-to person in my family and for my friends for, hey, I got a virus on my computer and I want you to fix it, right? Or my speakers used to work on this computer and now my speakers don't. Or, I'm having trouble with some issue with a computer, okay? Now, if it's an issue with a website or something like that, it's a different ball of wax. But generally, if there's any kind of problem with a computer, I don't fix that problem, okay? What I do is I boomnew that problem, right? So what I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is I restore the computer back to its original settings, right? So if there's any kind of problem with the computer that's serious, rather than do all the research to determine what that problem is and then fix that problem, I just boomnew that computer. I take that computer and put it through its settings so that it returns itself to its original state on the day it was purchased, right? It's called, a lot of people call this a restore, right? Now, computers can be boomnewed like this. It usually takes an hour to 2 hours, okay? Now, the reason why I do let me explain. This frustrates the heck out of a lot of people. And the reason why is they really want me to fix that problem, right? But the reality is it just takes a lot of time, right? And so I constantly am using this boomnew solution. Now, the only way you can use a boomnew solution is you can't keep data on that computer. And so I don't keep data on the computers I own. Every piece of information that I think is important or that I want to keep, I put onto the internet. I keep it on Google. I keep it on, generally I keep it on Google. That's pretty much it. I used to use Yahoo as a backup, but they had a lot of security problems. I really keep everything on Google now, and that is my storage drive, right? So, and this frustrates a lot of people because they want to keep data on their computer, which is, I understand why they want to do that. It's an old school way of considering things. Also, just to be clear, I never put my social security number online. I don't put my, my driver's license data online. Any type of really sensitive data, I do not put that online. It's dangerous to do that, right? But everything else, it's kept on, on a cloud, right? In the cloud, right? And that way you can just boomnew the situation. Now, this is a big deal. It means that I can fix almost any problem that happens with a computer in 2 hours, guaranteed, right? And the reason why is the boomnew, the restore on a computer is set. Like, I'm like, okay, boom, 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 right? And when you do a restore, there isn't a problem. You can always do a restore. So it doesn't matter what the problem is on the computer. Like, this problem on your computer might take 30 minutes to fix, or it might take 4 hours, or it might never be solved, and I would only figure that out after 8 hours, right? So boomnew is really important, and it's incredibly powerful. Now, computers are the ultimate boomnew devices. They can be boomnewed through a restore, right? Now, what happens if, I figured that out 10, 15 years ago, and I've been boomnewing computers for 15 years, right? Well, recently, I had a laptop, and I dropped that laptop on the floor, right? And it cracked the screen. I need to boom new that sucker. You can't boom new a cracked screen with a restore, right? But what you can do is you can buy a new one for $200. So probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I bought a Chromebook for my daughter for school. Chromebooks are insanely, I use Acer or Asus Chromebooks. They cost $200. They generally have 2 to 4 gigs of RAM. They usually have maybe 16 gigs of storage. They have about a 9-inch screen, and I use a monitor to connect to that, right? Now, if there's a physical problem, if it is physically broken, you can replace that for $200, right? If it's lost, if it's dropped, if one of the ports wears out, all those things, right? So, and the reality is, Acer and Asus Chromebooks are not the best computers you can buy, but they absolutely are the best value, right? So, and the reality is, every time I want to get a new computer, I go and I find some cool new computer, and I'm like, okay, that's great. That's a really good computer for $800, but I can buy 4 Chromebooks, right? So, like, every computer has just become a question of how many Chromebooks is that computer, right? Now, we do keep one Windows machine in the house just because generally, I am an IT professional. You need a Windows machine. I've never owned a Mac or an Apple. Really don't see a strong desire for one. It's a personal preference, right? I do get why people use them. They are top of the line. If money is no concern, Apples are great, in my opinion, okay? All right, but you can boom new a computer, with the restore. You can boom new a computer by buying a new one. There's another way you can boom new a computer, and that is with a virtual machine, right? So you can create virtual machines. You can use one physical computer to boom new 6 or 8 or 12 virtual machines that all emulate new computers, right? So there's all these ways you can boom new computers, right? Now, I realize and understand the value of boom new. Boom new is the state of a device, the ability to restore a device to its perfect beginning condition quickly and easily, okay? And one of the things I realized is, the more I thought about boom new, I thought about how powerful the concept of boom new is. Like, I am called in a lot to fix people's computers, and if they don't need their data, then I can generally help them. If it's absolutely critical that they have their data, I send them off to Geek Squad or whatever. They pay $200 to get that material off of there, and then Geek Squad hands them their data back, and then I tell them, don't ever do that again. Don't keep data on your PC. Just keep it in the cloud, right? Some people don't like that, but it's just the way it is. So anyway, now I realized that boom new is really important, because if you can understand it, you can really understand where our world is heading, right? So automation is massively important. It's important in the information technology world, and it's extremely important also in the physical world, right? They're automating a lot of jobs. Like, it's just happening, right? And if you don't understand this, you could be in serious trouble, because your job is going to get automated, right? So one of the things that's really interesting is, I was just thinking about how else do we boom new things, right? A good example of something that's boom newed that is physical are toothbrushes, right? So we use a toothbrush. You get a toothbrush. Often you can get them for free when you go to the dentist. You buy them at the dollar store, whatever, right? You use your toothbrush, and then 2 weeks or a month later, you're like, hey, this toothbrush, the bristles are all soft and they're all craggly, and this toothbrush isn't good anymore. Boom new. You throw that toothbrush in the trash. You pick up another one that you got from the dollar store, right? That's important. It's important that you are able to boom new things. The other thing I realized is why money is so powerful. I think one of the reasons why, excuse me, money is so powerful is the more money you have, the more things you can boom new, right? So basically, almost everyone can boom new a toothbrush, right? I hate to say this, I have reached a point where I can boom new a computer. Now, I don't buy more than 2 or 3 computers max per year, and there are some times where I go 2 years without buying a computer. But I can boom new a computer at this point, right? And now, one of the things I realize is there are people who boom new cars, right? Like boom new houses, all kinds of issues, right? So if you are rich enough, you can replace a device quickly and easily, and it's exactly like the computer problem. If you can boom new something, if you can boom new an object, you can really, really dramatically just like take entire classes of problems and get rid of them, because you don't have to deal with those problems. You just boom new the situation, right? And so I really feel that boom new is a needed word. It's a needed neologism, which I have now created. And I think it's really important to understand, because that's what everybody is doing. I don't think everybody, has one word for it, but everybody is trying to boom new things. Dollar stores are incredibly important. Everything in a dollar store can be boom newed by most people, right? And so the thing is, you don't ever take time to craft that thing or to maintain that thing. You just boom new it, right? It's easier and faster. And this world runs on speed, right? And that's not new. The Mongols conquered the world understanding the value of speed. Speed is incredibly important. Speed is king. Speed wins markets. Speed wins competition. Speed is incredibly important. And so if you are trying to accomplish something, if you're trying to build something, anything you can boom new is important, right? And so there's really just given a lot of thought about the concept of boom new and how important and incredibly useful it is, especially if you understand it and understand how to use it. Now, the reality is, I think I'm still thinking about boom new. I'm thinking about, how do we get the most out of boom new? What is appropriate to boom new and what is not appropriate to boom new, right? The other thing, and one of the reasons why I thought about this too, is yesterday there was a storm, right? And so, and this goes to a bigger question also. The idea of boom new is incredibly important, because once you realize the power of boom new, one of the things that it makes you think about is, what is the part of craftsmanship, right? And craftsmanship is dying, and the value of craftsmanship has gone way down. So if you can boom new something for $1 or $5 or $10 or $100 or $1,000 or $10,000, depending on where you are on the wealth scale, right? Craftsmanship just becomes, more and more worthless, right? And this is a sad fact. I'm not super happy to say this, but it also is a fact. And by understanding this fact, it helps us to understand this world and be in less trouble in this world as this world moves forward, right? So boom new is really important, right? And so basically anything that can be boom newed, the people who craft that, their skill set is probably very, very tenuous as far as value, right? Because generally anything that can be boom newed is already automated, right? Generally. And most of the things that can be boom newed, they're created through automation. And we are starting to think about, well, what can we use automation to create so that it's cheap and we can boom new them? And now that things are boom newed, what can we use those boom newed devices to make now boom new for more people because it's cheaper, right? It's very the whole idea is very circular, and it's unusual, right? But the reality is, it is critically important to think about this concept of boom new. What can we boom new? And also, I think that's that's something that I'm really going to be thinking about too in the days and weeks to come, is what should be boom new. That's a big question, right? And that's probably as important as what can we boom new, what should be boom newed. So that's my idea, my new neologism, boom new. Take care, everybody.